My previous video talked about the Nighthawks team of Tingen, that Klein is part of, but it was general things about them, like their daily routine, who can join and more. If you haven't seen it, please do after watching this video. Here I will talk about each member of the team and give information that didn't make it into the donghua. The Tingen team story begins with a full, active squad with only 6 formal members and 6 civilian staff. But they are a tightly knit group. Now let's meet the members. Let's start with the first and one of the few members of the civilian staff we see in the donghua. She is the bubbly receptionist, Roseanne, the daughter of a fallen Nighthawk. Because of this, she respects the Beyonder members' sacrifice but is terrified of becoming one, offering a grounded, human perspective. Roseanne is cheerful and a total gossip. Much of the information we have at the beginning, of the different members and of the Nighthawks in general comes from her. She had a really great relationship with Klein where they teased each other. She vents her frustrations and anxieties to him and complains about work. She even jokes about marriage schemes with him. More than a friend, she was like another sister to Klein. I really liked their interactions. Too bad the majority were cut. Another member of the civilian staff Klein interacts the most is Mrs. Orianna. She is immediately established as warm, approachable, and highly competent. Her role is crucial. She manages the team's finances. Her personal connection to the Nighthawks is not through family like Roseanne, but through being a survivor like Klein. She was nearly a victim 16 years ago, to a horrific serial killer known as the Butcher. The killer was a Beyonder, who needed the organs of his victims for an evil ritual. She was studying accountancy in business school back then. This past event fundamentally altered the course of her life, leading her to join the organization that saved her. Her presence is a constant, quiet reminder of why the Nighthawks do what they do. They don't just fight abstract monsters, they save real people, who then go on to live full lives. Klein doesn't interact much with the other civilian staff, but Roseanne introduces him to a clerk named Brett who wishes to change slots with her to celebrate his wedding anniversary with his wife. For this, Roseanne describes him as a truly romantic gentleman, and Klein mentioned eating with him and Roseanne from time to time. Then we have Cesare, the clerk in charge of procuring and collecting supplies for the Tingen Nighthawks while standing in as a carriage driver. He was the one who drove Klein to Welch's home to meet the spirit medium Daly. Sometimes, when the mission is considered too dangerous, another Nighthawk is the carriage driver. By the end of the novel, Klein sees a man and a woman sitting in the office. The man was in his 30s and the woman was in her 20s. They were 2 newly added members of the civilian staff, but Klein never interacts with them. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Now let's continue. And lastly, we have Old Neil. Among the civilian staff, he stands out. He was once a formal member, but due to his advanced age, he failed to be promoted. His health is ailing, so it's no longer suitable for him to handle cases. Because he does not wish to become a keeper or rest at home, the team accommodates to his wish to stay among the documents he loves, showing their care for him. Neil is eccentric, warm, and the one who teach Klein occult knowledge. The rituals, the symbols, the strange history, and most importantly, to respect the supernatural. Their relationship feels almost like a professor with a favorite student or an old uncle with a curious nephew. Old Neil was the team's veteran mystic, known and loved by everyone. His story is a tragic cautionary tale. Consumed by grief for his lost love, he fell to corruption, showing Klein the ever-present danger of losing control. He once told Klein that his wife, who loved music, died early and his son lived far away. That is why he lives alone in a quiet bungalow. But this was a lie. Old Neil did have a partner named Celeste, that he was about to be engaged with when he was younger, but she suddenly became terminally ill. Old Neil risked divulging the secrets of the Beyonders and tried using ritualistic magic to save her, but he didn't succeed, because back then he was just a beginner in mysticism. The Nighthawks back then were all on alert, afraid that Old Neil would lose control because of this. But luckily, he managed to find his sanity and looked normal. But the memory of Celeste becomes fertile ground for corruption later. His plan was to use the alchemical life method to create an immortal body for Celeste and complete it with the aid of God's favor. Then, he would summon her spirit from the spirit world and pray for God's help to combine her spirit and body together. He genuinely believes he was on the verge of a miracle, unable to see that the gift from God is a lure from a malevolent entity, the hidden sage. His pleas to his friends are a heart-wrenching mix of hope, madness, and a flickering awareness of the horror of his situation. He was a Sequence 9 mystery prior. His path is extremely dangerous for anyone not mentally stable. Old Neil is close friends with two old guys from the machinery hive mind, who mentioned to him in passing, that the corresponding Sequence 8 potion of Mystery Prior is Melee Scholar. He is also friends with the manager of the illegal Beyonder market who used to be a member of the Mandate Punishers, so the change in the donghua of him being an old friend of the Beyonder who lost control in episode 8 is not so outlandish. Klein's trembling hand and hesitation to pull the trigger is a pivotal character moment. It cements his understanding that being a Nighthawk isn't just about fighting monsters, it's about making unbearable choices and carrying the trauma of having to end the lives of those you care about to prevent greater evil. But his death not only impacted Klein. Old Neil worked with Dunn for 15 years and saved his life. He too helped Royale's family and Roseanne visited him often, but because of Viola leaving and Kenley's promotion to a Beyonder, the civilian staff has very little free time and she couldn't see the changes in him. They are all devastated by this. Now let's go with the Beyonder members of the Nighthawks. Frye is pale, quiet, corpse-like, and dangerous. But beneath the icy exterior, he is one of the most compassionate Nighthawks, competent, dedicated, and emotionally disciplined. Frye isn't unfriendly, he's simply someone who processes everything inwardly. He speaks only when necessary. His dream was to become an artist, but his father was a priest, and wanted his son to be a pastor. He later encountered and experienced some things that made him become a Nighthawk. He is a walking contradiction. Cold aura, warm intentions. Frye is a Sequence 9 corpse collector. Quite a number of cultists who worship death in the southern continent choose this pathway. Beyonders of this pathway naturally become calmer, more stoic, and more emotionally restrained. He is the team's shield against the perils of the grave, a quiet, unassuming, yet absolutely essential pillar whose specialized skills save his partners from threats they cannot even perceive. Daly is the third Beyonder Klein meets after Captain Dunn and Leonard. She is introduced as the most renowned spirit medium of Alwa County. She is a confident, sharp, and somewhat cynical Nighthawk. She is more willing to bend the rules and question authority than the Tingen team. Daly constantly mixes eerie supernatural abilities with a teasing, light-hearted personality. She can speak through a creepy translucent spirit face, but still jokes about Klein's siblings misunderstanding hearing a female voice in the night in Klein's room. Daly is the first person to openly confirm the existence of the acting method to Klein and that the church is keeping it secret for a reason unknown. She recognizes a kindred spirit in him, someone else who has deduced this secret through their own intelligence and observation. She becomes Klein's primary confidential contact outside the Tingen team. He immediately thinks of writing to her for advice when Captain Dunn starts behaving strangely, or when he needed to learn a technique to enter a Beyonder's mind, like she did to him in episode 1. We learn that Daly's promotion speed is insanely fast. She took 1 year to go from Sequence 9 Corpse Collector to Sequence 8 Gravedigger and another year to go from Gravedigger to Sequence 7 Spirit Medium, and by the time she visited Klein's home in spirit form she had spent 3 years stabilizing her Sequence 7 and has recently advanced sequences to Spirit Guide. That is why she can actually conjure a messenger to secretly speak with him. Because of this, she was just transferred to the Backlund Diocese, which is the world's busiest and most crowded city. They have the highest population of Beyonders and the most opportunities. And Captain Dunn laments that she, at her 24 years old, has a higher chance of becoming an archbishop or a senior deacon than him. Daly shows that it is possible to be a loyal member of the church while also being independent, ambitious, and in possession of secrets. Her success is both an inspiration and a roadmap. No, seriously, she has so much aura that she inspired Frye to take her same pathway. Roseanne also tells Klein that if she ever was a Beyonder she will be just like Daly, and Klein himself wanted to take her same pathway because he thought it was the coolest until Mystery Prior and Seer were the ones he needed to keep learning about the occult and find a way to go back to his world. Most of the formal members of the Nighthawks follow the Sleepless pathway, and so, we can see the different members in each of the lower sequences of the path. Let's begin from the lowest to the strongest of the team. Royale doesn't get much spotlight and we have not much information about her. She is dutiful, obedient and completely unremarkable. A perfect example of someone who keeps the world safe and gets nothing in return. She's cold and introverted. She typically didn't have much of an expression. Kenley is the definition of a normal young man. He is earnest, cautious and quietly brave. We later know he is recently engaged and both his parents are alive. He started as a clerk, and has recently been promoted as a Nighthawk through hard work. In conclusion, he was a young man at the beginning of his life, both in his career and his personal life. He represents the average, hard-working, loyal church beyonder. Kenley's death is not just a loss for the team, it is a formative, traumatic event for Klein. It is the first time a close colleague dies directly beside him on a mission. This isn't like old Neil's corruption, which was a slow decline. Kenley's death is sudden, violent, and a brutal reminder of the instantaneous lethality of their work, cementing Klein's resolve to grow stronger. Seeka Tron is a lady in her 30s. She is a midnight poet like Leonard that had taken on a side job as an author and had attempted to submit her works to newspapers and magazines. Unfortunately, she isn't famous and barely has sold any books. Klein doesn't interact much with her, but we can see she is a good teammate. An example of this is when Leonard tells her he wishes to join the Red Gloves and she understood he truly wanted revenge. Another is after Klein took the sealed artifact and was going to help Leonard and Captain Dunn distract Megos. She wanted to take his place, worried for his safety, but he tells her not to worry. While Klein and the others were attacking Megos and attempting to save Tingen City, she and the keepers within Cheney's Gate were fighting against a portion of the sealed artifacts, who wanted to escape, now that the ashes of Saint Selena were taken away. If it wasn't for the timely arrival of the members of the mandated Punishers and the machinery hive mind, or the eventual arrival of the reinforcements from the Holy Cathedral, she also might have lost her life. Leonard is the definition of the coworker who pretends he's lazy but is secretly terrifying. He is confident, poetic, and possesses a lone wolf aura. He carries himself with a theatrical flair and a touch of arrogance, which initially makes him seem aloof. However, under this exterior lies a loyal and capable teammate and a sharp, observant, and cunning mind. He is an excellent investigator, as shown by his deductive work on the Lenevis case. He is not just a brute force beyonder. He uses his intellect. Leonard immediately identifies Klein as a kindred spirit, someone who is also special. This bypasses the usual novice-veteran dynamic and creates an instant, unspoken understanding. He is the first to openly acknowledge that Klein has secrets. Leonard proposes a crucial deal. They will keep each other's secrets, as long as neither one's actions endanger the team or Tingen City. This establishes a relationship built on mutual blackmail and pragmatic trust. They are not quite friends, but they are allies of circumstance who understand each other better than anyone else on the team. There is a constant, underlying competition between them. Leonard is keenly interested in Klein's rapid progress, and Klein is equally curious about Leonard's hidden advantages. They push each other, test each other, and yet reliably have each other's backs in combat. The death of Captain Dunn and his teammates is a transformative moment for Leonard. His cold fury and determination for revenge against Insang will mark a significant character shift. His decision to join the elite Red Gloves is a direct response to this trauma, showing a move from self-focused ambition to a focused, vengeful purpose. Dunn Smith is the captain everyone wishes they had, calm, gentle, patient, reliable, and deeply caring for his team. The captain is one of the only 2 Sequence 7 Beyonders in the Tingen City's church. He carries years of responsibility on his shoulders, hiding exhaustion behind a soft voice and a tired smile. To Klein, Dunn becomes a mentor, a father figure and the symbol of what a true Nighthawk should be. Dunn treats Klein with patience and respect, guiding him through his first cases and first steps as a Beyonder. But Dunn's influence is deeper than guidance. His death becomes the emotional wound that shapes Klein's entire future. His chronic forgetfulness, especially for trivial stuff, is his most defining and initially humorous trait. Roseanne teases him for it and Klein jokes internally about it constantly. However, this is revealed to be far more than a quirk. As Leonard hints, it is a symptom unique to a nightmare, a consequence of constantly navigating the blurred line between dreams and reality. He is deeply loyal and emotionally attached. He keeps every dead teammate of his same pathway, alive in a dream world to avoid letting go. Dunn's core is defined by a profound, quiet sorrow. His confession about consuming the beyonder characteristics of his fallen comrades reveals a man who is unbearably lonely. He cannot bear to part with his friends and family, so he keeps them alive in a perpetual dreamscape. This is not an act of power hunger, but one of desperate love. His self-assessment as selfish shows the deep conflict and guilt he carries for this choice. By consuming the beyonder characteristics of his fallen teammates, Dunn has artificially augmented his power to a level approaching Sequence 6. This is not a clean advancement. It's a burdensome fusion that increases his strength at the cost of his mental stability and his progression. Captain Dunn Smith is the moral and emotional center of the Tingen Nighthawks. He is not a flashy hero, but a quiet, enduring guardian. His loss teaches Klein the weight of duty. Last but not least is our protagonist, Klein Moretti. A history university graduate and modern man trapped in a strange world. He is recruited for his intellect, his luck, and because he's already been exposed to the supernatural. His initial motivation is purely personal and intellectual, to understand his transmigration and find a way home. This makes him cautious, meticulous, and highly analytical. He weighs the pros and cons of each beyonder pathway carefully, prioritizing knowledge and survivability over raw combat power. Despite his calculating nature, Klein is deeply human and empathetic. He is haunted by the deaths of his colleagues and feels a profound sense of responsibility and guilt. His decision to eventually share the acting method with Captain Dunn stems from this empathy. He wants to protect the people he has come to respect. Klein chooses to become a Sequence 9 seer. Unlike his combat-oriented teammates, a seer is a support class. They are masters of divination, using tarot cards, pendulums, and astrology. They lack direct combat power but possess high spirituality and the unique ability to perceive the world in ways others can't. Then he advanced to Sequence 8, Clown. His journey is defined by his relationships. Dunn is his protective mentor. Leonard is his rival and secret keeper. Old Neil is his tragic warning. Through them, Klein evolves from a confused outsider seeking a way home to a committed guardian who fights to protect his new family. The Tingen Nighthawks weren't heroes in shining armor, they were tired, flawed, and human. One by one, they paid the price for protecting a world that would never know their names. So, what do you think? We'll be seeing some of the members who survived in the next season, or are we done with the Nighthawks? Who was your favorite member? What did you think of Klein's journey with them? Let us know in the comments below. Praise the lady. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into the world of the Lord of Mysteries. Until next time.